everyone. My name is Lily Vilazan, the owner of Magnolia Beauty Academy. This is Miss Sam. She is here today to talk to the girls about her business and everything. So, Sam, could you introduce yourself to the world and let them know what you're doing?
Of course. Yes. So, hi, everyone. I'm Sam Mcclanhan. It's Samantha, but I go by Sam. And I have a business called Salon Healing, which we go into nursing homes, and we have salons inside of nursing homes. And we do the patients, the residents who live there. I also do have one contract with a hospital, KU Hospital, and we do patients at there. I've been doing this business for 4 years, but I've been a nail technician for almost 33 years. So been in the business and business owner. Out of those 33 years, 29 of them have been a business owner.
That's cool. Entrepreneur. That's one of the things that we teach here at Magnolia Beauty Academy is entrepreneurship and how to be an entrepreneur and how to be better. The girls did come across a couple of questions that they have, and we asked the same guests the same questions. So I'm going to go through these questions. They kind of start off as a nail tech, and then the questions start going toward once you're a business owner. But these come from the Magnolia students. So these are your questions being asked. The first one is, what was the turning point of your career that made it take off?
Well, I started in a business that was inside of KU in the hospital, and at the beginning it was a little bit challenging, and I was only there part-time. And then I started running some specials for people. I would just discount it for a few dollars off here and there, and that worked. And so much so that like literally people would go, "What's your special going to be next month?" You know, it was kind of a thing. They got used to it, and even if once I built my business, I still would continue to do it, and I might not even really run a special. I would just put it on a flyer and make it look like it was something, you know, because they got so used to me doing that, and that's what helped it. I would say that was my turning point, and which helped it was the specials, the flyers, things like that.
And you made them yourself?
Yes, they were not super fancy, but yes, I did.
So as an entrepreneur, it sounds like you wear many hats.
Yes, I did. Because, well, I made them, and then I took them to like a printing company, and they printed them off because I was going to try to do it at home, but I found that it really wasn't that much more for them to take care of them for me. So I just took them and to a Kinko's or something like that, and they did them for me.
The other one is, what is the most important skill to have as a nail tech?
Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but I would say patience. You have to be patient. Because with your clientele, but with yourself, because not everything's going to come just naturally. You know, some people are better at like art. That's something I was never very good at, and I just said, you know what, it's okay that so just be patient with yourself and with other people, because it's going to take you real far in life.
Yeah, trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust it. So how did you overcome your obstacles, and what held you back, if you had it?
Everybody I think has obstacles, and I would say probably what helped me overcome some of those obstacles were just believing in myself, just which isn't always easy to do. I'm probably harder on myself I definitely am harder on myself than I am with anybody else. But just getting through that, just being confident with yourself and believing in yourself and continuing to keep working at it. I think that helps out a lot.
What did you find hard as a beginner nail tech?
So for me, it was, I would say the thing that was the hardest for me was acrylic nails. It took me a little while to get the hang of doing them, and then not lifting and things like that. So I just continued to have to keep working on them. And then I found that the sculptured, which I know that sculpture is not as popular now, but they helped me. So I got the forms and I started doing those, and I got quicker at it. At first it wasn't, but then I just got quicker with it, and that's what helped me a whole lot.
How did you get your first nail tech job after graduation?
Well, so mine was kind of, I was pretty blessed because my best friend had a beauty salon, which is the one I bought. She had a beauty salon, and she just said to me one day, you know what would really be cool, Sam, is if you went to school to do nails, and I did hair, and we could work together. Wouldn't it be fun? And I'm young, like I'm super young at the time, so I was like, that would be. So then a couple months later, went to school for nails, and then when I got out of school, she hired me, of course, and started working there. So I was pretty blessed with that. Not like most people, but I was definitely blessed. So I knew where I was going even when I started in school. I knew what I wanted, but I literally sit down and wrote out goals of what I wanted to accomplish in a year, what I wanted to try to accomplish in 5 years, and so on.
So how did you know which salon was right for you? Well, you knew.
I knew because of that.
You knew. That was a plan. That was a plan all along. Here's the other one. Do you recommend staying in a salon or going solo 100%?
So that would depend on the individual. I mean, knowing if you are going to go by yourself 100% from the beginning, nothing wrong with doing that, but you just have to, I would say, maybe take a business class or talk to someone who knows, who has their own business, to learn from them, because there's a lot to know about business, as you well know.
Yeah.
And that's with any business. So if you're going to go 100%, you should know a little bit about business, because otherwise you're going to go belly up before you even get started.
Right. That's why one of the things here at Magnolia is we try to do a lot of business courses and bring people in to kind of share their experiences and stuff like that. But another thing that we do is look at podcasts. This is why we started these things, so that they can have something to go back and reference to and look at if they're interested, because it's continuing education. You continue working, you continue learning. So here's the next one. It says, how long did it take you to get a good amount of clients?
I would say for me, it took a little while, only just because I was part-time to begin with. I was working 4 or 5 days a week, but it was only like a couple hours every day because I was working. I had a full-time job, and then I would go there and do nails in the evening. So it probably took me about, I would say, 2.5, 3 years to really start building a decent clientele. Mostly, I think it might have been a little sooner had I been more full-time, but because I was only part-time, I could only do so many.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Do you ever regret being a nail tech?
Absolutely not. No, not even 1% of not. No, because it's much more than just doing, and I share this in the nursing homes with all their staff on a regular basis. We are doing much more than just doing their nails, because we're talking to them, we're communicating with them, we're touching them. You wouldn't believe how many people don't get touched in a day, which is something to be said about that. And one of the things that I've learned, especially because working in nursing homes and hospitals, is people don't look at their face as much as they look at their hands.
Yeah.
And I never really realized that. And my mom passed away about 7 years ago, but she was pretty sick before she passed away. And so that was one of the things that was so important to her, is to get her nails done. So every 2 weeks I would go do her nails, no matter where she was at, if she was in the hospital or home. And mostly because she wasn't looking in that mirror every day, but she was, by golly, she was looking at her hands. And so that's the one thing I know I don't regret doing, ever. I love what I do, and I still do to this day, even though it's been a long time.
Do you ever consider working from home? Why and why not?
So personally, I prefer more to work in a salon, more so than home. And for me, it's mostly just because I am a people person, and I like to be around more people, and so I get more people that I'm around. Whatever. And if you have questions about something, you've got other people that can help you answer that. even like I didn't work in a salon with other nail techs. They were hairstylists, but sometimes it was a difficult client, not because of their nails, but because maybe their personality, and you could chat with another person about that. So I prefer to work not in a home, more so.
I like having it separated from home also. I like to be able to leave work at work and then come home. So I agree with that. Did you ever have a client they just decided, oh, I don't want this, and they leave? Have they ever had any clients to do that?
Yeah, I had people through the years who, no matter what I would do, I couldn't please them, and it's just part of life. I mean, it's going to be there.
Just
let it go.
Roll up. Don't take that to heart. That's them.
I remember a couple times actually people coming in the salon and asking for an appointment, and they literally would be telling me, I went somewhere else and they did my nails and they didn't do a good job and da 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 da. And as they're telling me this, I'm in my head going, I don't do their nails. So I got to the point when people would say that to me from the beginning, be like, I'm sorry, I can't get you in. I'm too busy. My schedule's full, just because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
If I promise you, if they're complaining about somebody else, they're gonna complain about you, no matter what kind of job that you do on them. And I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear somebody's talking about another nail tech.
Yeah,
that's not nice.
It's really not. That's something that's those soft skills that you have to really get good at. Is there a way you can say something without downing somebody else and what they're working and stuff like that? Totally agree on that. So now we're going towards more of a business owner type of questions here. What gave you the confidence and support to start your business?
Well, again, that's where I lucked out, because my best friend had the business before me. And I shouldn't say lucked out, because I didn't have to take it. I mean, she did come to me and say that she's ready to move on and do something different, and did I want to purchase the salon from her? So I could have said no, but at the time I really wasn't ready. I was 7.5 months pregnant and had just bought a house the year before, so it was not a good time for me to do it.
Right, yeah.
But I still was like, I need to think about it, and came back and said yes, because I didn't want to lose that opportunity. Because I really liked working in that salon, and I knew she would help me if I needed help with something and to guide me, and she did. She showed me the ropes on how to do it, and I learned a lot.
Yeah, having a friend, it makes it easy.
It definitely makes it easy.
For
sure.
What gave you the confidence to start your own business?
Because I had my best friend. I watched her go through it and have her own business, and my mom also. Funny thing is, my mom was a hairstylist as well.
Really?
And so she's in the business too, and she had her own salon, and so kind of
knew it.
I watched her do it, and I knew I had good work ethic, which I think helps get you really far in life.
Yeah,
because not very many people have that, especially nowadays.
Self-starters.
Yes.
Gotta be a self-starter to actually get stuff done.
Yeah, and a lot of times people think that when you have your own business, you got all this money just because you have your own business, but it takes a lot of work to have your own business, and it takes a lot of money to have your own business.
Exactly.
Because every little tiny thing costs money, and that goes, anything you have to pay for it, that goes into your profit margin. So,
exactly.
Exactly.
Did you always know you wanted to be a business owner? Always know that.
I would say from when I went to school for nails, yes. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, no. I mean, I worked in an office for about 10 years in an office behind a desk, and loved that too, but kind of got to the point where it was just monotonous. And now I can't even imagine going back to working at a desk job. It would sound so boring to me.
I wouldn't want a desk job either. I like doing what I'm doing, working with the students and stuff like that, and I love working with the clients and seeing people in here. It's almost like you build that relationship with them, and it's like every important part of their life, you're part of it when you're nail tech. So it's like every milestone, you was a part of that part in their life. So I really like working with people too, than at a desk looking at a computer all day.
Yes, not my cup of tea anymore.
Right. Starting your nail journey, did you have a job besides the business? And at what point did you go all in on nails? Because you worked part-time,
Right, I worked part-time, and so I did nails for 3 years and not business. Nope,
Okay.
I didn't have my own business. I worked for somebody else. And then after 3 years is when I did go in, and then I was a business owner, but I still worked behind the chair just, as much as I did when I was just a business owner. I had other people who worked, for me, just would give me, I don't remember, I think we did commission back then. So we did, we ended up going booth rent toward the end, but we started off with commission.
Any tips for starting successful businesses, like financial tracking, product, etc.?
Tips, I would say, again, like if you don't take a business class, there's so much good information online. And that's one of the things that I would encourage, is to learn stuff from other people, or finding out about, business through other people who are in the business world. I don't even have to be a nail tech.
Networking. It's networking with different people.
Talking to other people about it who are their own business owners, because they might have ideas on what has helped them to be successful, and that might help you to be successful too. I know from my best friend, I've learned a lot from her through a lot of stuff. Now, her and I have two totally different businesses, so her ideas are always great, but not always going to be beneficial to me. But it's nice to hear, like, I can talk to somebody about it, because, like, I mean, my husband's awesome, but he's never been a business owner. He's worked for a union his entire life, and now he's retired, so he doesn't understand. Right, so I need to talk to other people who are in the same business world as me, because they do get what I'm talking about. Right. So that would be my biggest thing. What I would say to answer that question, right, is communicate with other business owners, even if they're not in the same profession as you, because they're going to be able to help you with a lot of things. Make it not so scary, because it can be scary.
Yeah, I say when we start this entrepreneur journey, you find that the people that you normally surround yourself with change, because now you're surrounding yourself with people like on the same goals as you. So it's not saying that you outgrown your friends and stuff. It's just that now you're being friends, or you hear more of entrepreneurship community. They experience the same type of things, and if they didn't, they experience something similar to that, and they can share the networking and stuff like that. So you notice that. Look around the people that are around you right now, and as you start your business and as time goes on, those people may not be there with you, and that's not a bad thing. That just shows your growth and the change in you.
Absolutely. So, I couldn't agree more on that one. That's a very good answer.
This is the last question. So what is your favorite service to provide?
Pedicures.
Really? Yeah. Pedicures? It's so funny, because when everybody come into school, the first thing they do is like, oh, they don't want to touch feet. They don't want to touch feet. Yeah. But by the time those 4 months are over, that's their favorite service to do, is a pedicure.
Well, and people used to say, why do you like to do pedicures so much? And my answer to that is always, well, their feet are only in their shoes all day long, and they might be a little bit stinky, but by the time you put them in the water and soap and everything, they're not. But their hands are in, I don't even want to think about where they've been. So, to me, I enjoy doing pedicures, and your feet take a lot of beating. And I mean, I've seen a lot, trust me, in the 33 years that I've been doing this with feet. And it's amazing how much better their feet feel. Not even so much look, they feel better, versus their hands. It's more of a look, and I think that's probably why I enjoy doing the pedicures too. And still, even to this day, I do more pedicures than anything right now, just because it's a need more than I want it, or it used to be kind of a luxury thing when I first started doing them. And now it's, especially as people get older, like in the nursing homes and stuff, they can't do their own. They can't bend over.
They can't reach it.
They can't reach
see
it.
It.
Right. And so they need it. Right,
They
exactly.
purpose if
Or they
even use
can't
a
clip
purpose.
them yourself
Yeah.
anymore because it's too difficult. But I always tell them, I see what you don't see because I'm on this end. You know, I mean, like, they don't see that maybe they got a sore on the bottom of their foot because they can't lift their foot up anymore. And so, you know, you can share. I mean, like, I've done so many diabetics through the years, which is not always, you know, everybody doesn't want to do that, but are comfortable with doing it. And if you're going to, you should definitely you just need to be careful and let them know. They need to let you know beforehand.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And one thing I say them when I'm doing my older clients is if they have neuropathy or they diabetic or whatever, they can't see underneath their foot. So it's up to you, being the nail tech, to kind of really check their feet and see if there's anything on their feet. Bring it to their attention. If you see a mark, bring it to their attention because they don't know, they don't see. A lot of good little tips I tell them is put a mirror on the floor underneath their bed and pull it out with their feet and put their feet over the mirror so they can see underneath it, and then they're done, slide the mirror back underneath the bed. So that's some of the things I tell my older people who can't see the bottom of their feet. This is a way to check it.
Yeah, because it's well, I mean, the other thing, like with toenails, there's a lot of skin that grows up underneath there. If they don't get them clipped very often, the skin's going to grow with it. And so that's one of the things that I tell some of them who that's not their favorite thing to do. So they don't get them done very often. And I'll tell them, you need to get it done more often because then you won't have that skin, you won't have that problem. They won't hurt. I mean, they're going to hurt. Yeah, it's going to hurt if you don't get them done very often because you got that skin and it's growing up into there and it's pushing, and you're more of a chance of us as a nail tech cutting your skin because of all that skin's going under there, and that's not good because it bleeds really bad. Yeah, I've done it a number of times. But so that's one of the other things is being able to communicate with them and telling them, look, I mean, I literally had to tell a lady a few weeks ago, I was just like, listen, this hurt today, right? She said, yes, it did. And I said, it won't hurt if you get it done on a more regular basis. She had said it was like 6 months. Oh, well, that's way too long to go, and she can't cook them herself. So being able to communicate with someone, I think, makes a big difference too. Talking to people.
I tell my students, it's like, you are the professional nail tech. You know these things. So it's up to you to really communicate and educate your client on what you're doing and how to do things so that they know, you know, because you went to school for this.
Yeah.
You know, educate them. I say, even if like you're talking, you can't really do a little small talk, a little, you know, education won't hurt during that time.
Right. And teaching them because maybe they don't know.
They don't know. You guys, the one who spent the 4 or 5 months in learning the material. So it's also good to, it's like a refresher, repeating those things and stuff like that, and be able to explain things to clients so that they will understand.
Absolutely.
But I really appreciate you coming today. I'm looking forward for us to connecting even more.
Yes.
But again, thank you all for coming in. Thank you, Sam, for coming in and sharing your thoughts. So again, thank you. This is the end of our little, I don't know what we call these podcast teams that we have. But thank you and goodbye.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
Yeah.